Thank you. Just going to share my presentation first. Well, hello everyone. Thank you for inviting me to the workshop, and thank you very much for the presentations. I must say I totally agree that there actually is an opportunity for rural areas and smaller cities in taking care of refugees, and there's a big opportunity because we have, even in rural areas, we have a lot of companies needing people for hire. So I agree with that. But in Sweden, the problem was when the asylum crisis started, the empty apartments was not in the cities, and probably it's not in any city in the world, maybe. But so it was actually in the rural areas like Hulfstred. And it was there where the Swedish Migration Agency established all the welcome centers, you could say, except for Malmö, of course, and so on. And one of the biggest ones was established here in Hulfstred. So I think we started in the rural areas to take care of the refugees. Then they moved to the cities, and we didn't manage, because of the high volumes, to take care of the opportunity, actually. But today it's much better than compared to the beginning. I will start a little bit about my wonderful municipality of Hulfstred. As you see, it's a very small area. And I also would like to say that I will apologize for not take so much time about the housing problem itself, but rather how uninteresting it is if you do not solve the parts that come next after the housing. And by that I mean education and employment that everybody is talking about. As Rönnlund showed, we are a part of Kalmar County in Sweden, Kalmar County, and in the small Kalmar County we have a smaller municipality. If you measure inhabitants, maybe not in square meters, we're quite big. We have 290 municipalities in Sweden. We have a little more inhabitants than Åre. But a big difference compared to Åre is the urbanization of the municipality of Hulfstred. As you can see, Hulfstred is strongly affected by urbanization, has been so since 1972 when the municipality was formed. So we have been trained for a very, very, very long time to decrease. And something happened, of course, at 1987, 1989, 1990, 1991. Of course, we have the Yugoslavia crisis. So we have had a big tradition taking care of refugees, and we have always been welcoming them. But at 2012, something very extraordinary happened. There is data from 6 of the municipalities in Sweden that received the most refugees. I want to show you this one because the welcoming from Sweden has not been every municipality. On the contrary, it's been quite few municipalities. These small municipalities is rural areas, all of them. And if you take per capita, how many we received, then you can understand how big the crisis became actually for a small municipality to take care of this and try to do something innovative. If you take per capita, we could actually take 800,000 more in Sweden if we take these 6 municipalities. So we could fix the whole European problem in one day, because that's what these 6 municipalities have done. I wanted to show you this just to understand how crazy it was 2012 to 2017 being a CEO of a municipality like that, who has been shrinking since 1971. 2016, we reached a point where Sweden grew its population enormously, but the small municipality of Hulfstred grew even bigger. Sweden announced that the increase of people 2016 was the largest since 1861, 1.46%. At the same year, Sweden announced that the rural municipality of Hulfstred was the one who grew most, and it grew 4.9%. So since 1861, 1.46, and Hulfstred 4.9. That's the place where we were trying to fix the housing. Let's move on to the housing challenge then. So suddenly we reach a point where our municipality had a multi-challenge in planning. We needed to shift quickly from decreasing to increasing, and in a very sharply way, and for people who didn't have their housing fixed compared to normal. I mean, if you move students into Stockholm, yeah, you have problem with housing, but they have their income fixed and so on, and they are there for education. So at the same time, we were one of the largest places for asylum reception. We were one of the largest places where most asylum seekers who have received residence permits have settled. And we were also, at the same time, one of the places in Sweden that the most of the refugees moved from and into the big cities, like said in the presentation before. We actually had a turnover rate, about 8.5% of population was replaced in 9 months. 8.5% in 9 months were replaced. So even if we were many people, it was new people all the time. We was like a bus stop for several years, you could say. I hope we were a good bus stop, but how do you actually plan housing for this? What type of housing? What type of schools? How do you recruit staff? And who shall finance it? Everything was very unclear at that time. But still, we had to do it. The reason people came to us was because there were vacant flats. But as you can see, if you grow 4.6%, the most since 1861 in Sweden, there will be more problems than housing. Because when they came to us, we didn't have any childcare, we could get any education, and they couldn't enter the labor market quickly enough. So we had very, very big problems. So they didn't know actually when they came here that they couldn't get their childs to schools. So they could not take jobs because we had a lot of jobs actually. We have, for example, IKEA here with Sweden's biggest factory. Now it's a new state. As I said, the urbanization is moving on. I think people moving to cities, maybe because of Corona, it will slow down. I don't know. But people from all over the world is probably attracted to cities like everyone, even if we have jobs in rural areas. Most of the people from all over the world is attracted to cities. So even if it's cheap to live here, cheap to stay here, you can get a job here. We see now that people move to other areas. We can see it locally in our municipality, that people moves. It's a classic thing. You go from the poorest area. When you get a job, you move to next area and so on. And sadly to say that we are now actually demolishing apartments. Over 150 apartments. The municipality owns 25% of the apartments in the municipality, but we see that we have unscrupulous landlords coming in, and we want to stop that. So to conclude, I was not about to talk about how it now with I think we have a good situation now with low unemployment, but still about foreign. We have 20% unemployment, but we were above 35%. In people who is born in Sweden, it's only 4%. So we have still a way to go, but we have succeeded in some extent, you can say, because we have a good situation in housing, and we have a good situation where there are more jobs when we can find people. But I think many of people who have stayed here is with the lowest education, so they have the longest way to jobs. But we have a good organization today that we have learned in a brutal way since 2012 to how to integrate people quickly and how to give jobs quickly. I think Åre's explanation on how to work is very good. We do almost exactly the same here. So today I think we have better conditions to take care of everyone. But if we have worked smarter in Sweden, I'm really sorry to say, if every municipality have taken care of them at the same time, I think we have had a much better opportunity for a rural area like us, because this total chaos 2012 2015 didn't give anything good to anyone. But let's do it better next time. Thank you.